Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome back to another video where we look at a blast from the past. With the Royal Rumble coming up, I decided to go back to an old Royal Rumble PLE and relive it. You know, this one is going to be awkward for me, and, you know, I've been wanting to try and avoid some of the Royal Rumbles that have concerned a certain superstar that was blacklisted from WWE. I wanted to pick the 2010 Royal Rumble or the 2013 one, but I decided to go back just a fair bit, and hopefully this video doesn't get demonetized or anything like that. And I'm going to be talking about the 2004 Royal Rumble. The one Royal Rumble that WWE has completely blacklisted from its entirety. Well, and also, to be fair, they also blacklisted any of the other Royal Rumbles that also involved this certain wrestler involved in that match as well. The biggest reason why I'm looking at this Royal Rumble in particular, for those who do not know, but for those who do know, but this is for people that do not know, this Royal Rumble event, the 2004 Royal Rumble, was the very first Royal Rumble pay-per-view I ever watched. So this is how I got introduced to wrestling. And it's quite a damn shame that the very first Royal Rumble I ended up watching is now tarnished because of the guy that ultimately won the Royal Rumble match and all that. So, yeah, so that's the biggest problem for me when it comes to looking back at these particular Royal Rumble pay-per-views. So, hope you guys bear with me, and let's hope and pray that I don't get demonetized or anything for mentioning the guy's name, or anything along those lines. So anyway, the very first match on the show was Evolution's Batista and Ric Flair defending the World Tag Team titles against the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon. Didn't even know Batista was World Tag Team Champions with Ric Flair at this time. I remember Batista was Tag Team Champion with Rey Mysterio and John Cena, but I did not remember him being Tag Team Champion with Ric Flair. I mean, I guess it does make sense because Randy Orton was the Intercontinental Champion and Triple H was the World Heavyweight Champion. So, of course, you know, back then they wanted to make Evolution look like the most dominant faction. So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that this actually happened, but for some reason I just don't ever remember this happening. And it's a tables match, the Dudley Boys specialty, and Batista and Ric Flair ultimately win and retain their tag team titles. I have no idea who they lose it to. I just don't know. I don't remember. So next we get Rey Mysterio taking on Jamie Noble, who's with Nydia. Does anyone remember her? So, but this is for the Cruiserweight Championship, as SmackDown has the Cruiserweight division at the time. Rey Mysterio retained after 3 minutes. Man, great Cruiserweight action there, guys. We had only 3 minutes of it. Then we had Eddie Guerrero take on Chavo Guerrero. This is kind of like a big Guerrero feud at the time. They were having a big Guerrero feud at the time. And Eddie Guerrero would ultimately win the match by defeating Chavo Guerrero with Chavo's dad, Chavo Sr., watching on at ringside. Brock Lesnar would take on Hardcore Holly for the WWE Championship. Now, this has to be the most random WWE Championship match, I think, of all time, but there is a story to it at least. Brock Lesnar broke Hardcore Holly's neck, and Holly was coming back for revenge. Were there anybody that liked the bombastic Bob, Bastard Bob? Were there people that actually thought this guy was talented? I mean, he was great during his hardcore days, but I don't know. I was never really the biggest Hardcore Holly guy. his theme song was cool though, but other than that, I was never really into Bombastic Bob. And if you don't know where I got that from, you will have to wait. You will have to just ask me, and then I will tell you. So it's kind of funny where I got that from. Anyway, so the matchup between these two was not very good. I'll just be completely honest. It wasn't very good. I remember this not being great at all. And Hardcore Holly ultimately loses, and Brock Lesnar retains. Like, this match had so much heat into it because it was a great storyline and a great feud. Well, not a great feud. It just had a good storyline to it. But the fact it didn't last, like the first 4 matches are all under 10 minutes. Like, the first 4 matches on the card are under 10 minutes. It's absolutely insane how crazy and how weak the entire card was. And also there was a women's match, but it was broadcasted on Sunday Night Heat, which was Victoria defeating Molly Holly. So yeah, no real women's action on this. I guess you can consider that a pre-show, I guess, but I don't even know why it's listed as a Royal Rumble match when it was on a show called Heat. Next we get Triple H versus Shawn Michaels, and boy oh boy, didn't WWE love to hammer these two against each other back in the day. My god, man, 2002, 2003, and 2004, man oh man, did they love hammering these two guys together. Like, these two guys just had so many matches against each other, it just made you get really sick of it really quickly. I mean, sure, the matches were great and all, but, you know, when you constantly have the two wrestlers constantly beating the shit out of each other all the damn time, it kind of eventually gets weary and gets boring. So, yeah, Shawn Michaels and Triple H had a last man standing match for the World Heavyweight title. At least this match was good. I mean, of course it was good. It was the only good match on the card. And the match ended in a draw. After 23 minutes of action, the match just doesn't have a winner. There's just no winner. The crowd are angry, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. Alright. Oh, thanks a lot. That's not what I was trying to do. Good old controller doing its stupid shit as always. Well, that was more my fault than anything. But anyway, it's time to talk about the Royal Rumble match and all the entry orders. And please, I just do not want to do this. This is really bad. But the first man that entered this year at the 2004 Royal Rumble was the man named Chris Benoit. This guy was the ultimate winner of the 2004 Royal Rumble, and this is why I look back at this Royal Rumble with... Look, it's the first Royal Rumble I ever watched, which I guess that is the nostalgic part on my end, but man, oh man, considering the whole thing with Chris Benoit and what ultimately happened to him, this Royal Rumble is erased from history for particular reasons. But hey, you can't really change history. You can't really change history now, can you? So, entry at number 2. This is when I saw my boy, Randy Orton, for the very first time. When I saw him come in at number 2, and he was the Intercontinental Champion. This was his first Royal Rumble, and he lasted 33 minutes. He had a really great showing in the Royal Rumble in his Royal Rumble debut. He came out at number 2, and he eliminated 5 guys. And his performance in the Royal Rumble is what made me a fan of Randy Orton. Yeah, his performance in this matchup is what made me really fall in love with him. And yeah, this was how I got introduced to Randy Orton for the very first time. Mark Henry was in at number 3, Tajiri was number 4, Bradshaw was number 5, Rhino was number 6, I Can Swim for Tornado, Matt Hardy comes in at number 7, Holla if you hear me. Scott Steiner at number 8 and Matt Morgan at number 9. Does anyone remember Matt Morgan? That guy was not good at all. He was definitely not the greatest. Definitely. And you better stand back. There's a hurricane coming through at number 10. Can you dig it, sucker? Booker T at number 11, and Kane comes in at number 12. Little old Spike Dudley does not get his chance to enter the Royal Rumble because Kane gets spooked by the Undertaker because Kane buried him alive at that year's at the previous year's 2003 Survivor Series after Undertaker lost to Vince McMahon. And Rikishi comes in at number 14. Rene Dupree, dun 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 dun. No, that's Brock Lesnar's music. You get it. He's the Frenchman. He's the French tickle guy, as what Taz called him. He only lasted 33 minutes. A-Train, Albert, Tenzai, Sweet Tea, whatever you want to call him. He was the next guy to come in. And Shelton Benjamin came in at number 17. And Ernest Miller, I don't even remember who this guy was, but he originally had the Somebody Call My Mama song, Somebody Call My Mama song, Somebody Call My Mama, that eventually became Brodus Clay and Naomi and Cameron's theme. And he was eliminated pretty quickly, because all he did was dance in the ring, is from what I remember. And then we have Kurt Angle coming in at number 19, and then we get Rico, number 20. Mick Foley was in at number 21. This is where Randy Orton, unfortunately, got eliminated from the match. And Mick Foley also eliminated himself. Christian! At last, you're on your own. No, I don't think he had that theme song back then. I think it was, I think his theme was either dun 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 or an early version of Just Close Your Eyes. I can't remember. It was 2004. I don't remember. Nunzio. Apparently, he recently made his return during the NXT ECW thing. I don't know why, but he was there. But apparently he was there. So he came back for that. Well, it's the Big Show at number 24. I don't know why. I always liked the Big Show back in his early days. I don't know why. I just liked the Big Show during his early days because I liked his theme song back then. I liked his theme song back then. Chris Jericho was at number 25. Charlie Huss was number 26. Badass Billy Gunn, I'm an Ass Man, came out at number 27. John Cena, who had basic thugonomics back then, at number 28. Rob Van Dam, who was very much of a one-of-a-kind, at number 29. And then Bill Goldberg at number 30, which Goldberg at the time got eliminated by Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar, well actually no, Brock Lesnar wasn't credited for his elimination, but Brock Lesnar got involved and ultimately cost Goldberg the Royal Rumble matchup. And as I said, the unfortunate truth is Chris Benoit was the winner, and he originally broke the record of the longest time in the Royal Rumble match. But then Rey Mysterio ultimately broke it in 2006. Yeah, so again, this Royal Rumble was the first Royal Rumble I ever watched, but the total disdain of it is because of the guy who ultimately won. Thank you all for watching, guys, this Blast from the Past review, and I will see you all, possibly, for my Royal Rumble review.